Okay, this is my first video as far as teaching is concerned online. This is going to be on relays and contactors. So I have three of the devices here. This first one is a compressor contactor that is a replacement for one in the air conditioning unit. It's a single pole contactor in that it just has one electrical contact. I have no idea why my hand looks so red. And it has a power bar. So the 240 volts would come in here, and coming out of the other end would go to the compressor and to the condenser fan. And so when we put 24 volts on where the red wires are, the coil will be energized. And the coil right here, it's a copper coil that would become an electromagnet when we put 24 volts on it, and that would pull the contactor closed and start the compressor. All right, I have another device here, which is a relay, and I'll show you how it's hooked up here. That it's a two-pole double throw relay in that it has a common connection, two of them. Then we have a path going over to this contact through a set of closed contacts, both of them. And then we have a path this way with both of these have a set of open contacts. And if you remember, especially if you missed it on the quiz, that what happens to contacts when we energize the coil of a relay, and we have a coil, here it is, again, just like the contactor, it's electric, like copper wire on a spool. That will create a magnetic field, and it would turn on the coil and then change the contact. So this one here would open, this one would close, this one would open, this would close. So whatever was running here would stop, and then the power would go to there. For example, this could be power coming in, this could be the low speed of a motor, and this could be the high speed wire, and only one's going to run at a time. But when I energize the coil, the low speed drops off, this closes, and it runs on the high speed. That's just one of the examples that could be used by this relay. Now we have another relay here. It's a very, very simple relay. The two red wires would be the 24 volts. It's just one set of normally open contacts. In fact, there's even a little diagram here, and it's hard to see, but there are numbers on the leads there. And if you notice where the two red wires are, there's a solder there. The coil on this thing, the wires are very, very small. And if they probably just try to do the rivets like it does on the high voltage side, it would probably break it. So they solder the wires on there. And that's one way you can tell which of the two have the coil for the relay. Now, one thing difference between relays, just like this one and this one, you cannot see the contacts, and there isn't anything you can do about it. You'd have to drill apart the rivets. So these are replaceable items. They're not expensive, but the same thing applies to a contactor. But by definition, the contactor, you can see the contacts open and close. So if you are working on the unit, you can look right at it and see whether the contacts are closed or not. One thing I want to point out about this one here is this is a single pole contactor. The other side is the power bar, okay? They do have two pole contactors, but I want to tell you, you don't want to replace one of these with a two pole contactor unless you know what you're doing, because you're changing the whole configuration of wires that are here. So by and large, what you want to do is replace like with like. And I would stock these on my truck. This happens to be a 25 amp contactor. But you can buy them 25, 30, 40 amps. So you wouldn't want to put a 25 amp contactor, say, on a 4 or 5 ton unit, because about a week later, you're going to be back replacing that contactor under warranty. So that's my first video. I'm going to send it out to everybody. I'm probably even going to send it to my heating class just so they can see what we're going to do. But so I'm going to use this on the motors for my HVAC electricity class, and I'm going to use it in the heating class for doing some other stuff. So let me know what you think, and that you got it. Bye.